2024 is shaping up to be one very interesting year for the world of pro wrestling and free agency. As you guys know, Will Ospreay is a free agent in February of 2024, and he's at the top of the priority list for both Tony Khan and Triple H. But Triple H ain't stopping there. He's looking far and wide in different ways to rebuild WWE, especially one of the weakest parts of WWE, and that is their women's division. Triple H is now highly interested in one of the best female professional wrestlers, arguably the best female professional wrestler right now in the entire world, and that is Giulia from Stardom, Bushiroad, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I got all the details on what is a major rumor and my thoughts on it today right here on Off the Script. Also, is Warner Brothers Discovery really in the running for WWE programming? And could they add Monday Night Raw and NXT to their programming list in 2024? Imagine that. I'll give my thoughts on that today right here on the podcast. We're going to start off with Giulia. This was a big story. Yesterday, I didn't know what I was reading. I didn't really know or expect this to come about in the early hours of Monday morning. But WWE now has a massive interest in signing a current New Japan Pro Wrestling champion. And the Joshi world right now is in a frenzy. PW Insider reported on November 6th that WWE has expressed heavy interest in Japanese star Giulia, widely considered one of the best performers in all of pro wrestling, that is male or female. They reported that things are serious enough that she's expected at the Performance Center in Orlando this month. Now, this is coming from Fightful. We can confirm at Fightful that WWE has interest in her, and she was considered a priority acquisition per one source that we spoke with. For the last several years, Giulia's work in Stardom has received rave reviews. Now, Dave Meltzer, he went out there as of today, and he added to this story by saying this, and I quote, Meltzer says that Giulia is not allowed to sign with anyone, including WWE, until her deal is up in March. So this is the Giulia story. She's under contract until March. So up until March, nothing is happening. I know Mike Johnson was correct in reporting that there's interest, but there's been interest in her since 2019. It is a story now because there's more interest in her now, but she's not going anywhere until March. The thing with Giulia is she was born in England, but she doesn't know fluent English. She does have the look, but she's going to have to learn English. The part about her going to the Performance Center, I've had people deny that. We'll find out. But I was told that her schedule is booked for the rest of the year. She's coming to the United States in January for the show in San Jose, but she's under contract. And unless Bushiroad gives the okay, I don't know why they would. She wouldn't really be allowed to do a WWE tryout right now. So I don't know if that one is happening. I asked at WWE, and they told me the same thing. They told me that this was not happening, but they're very interested in her. End quote. Now, in addition, obviously, AEW is interested. Tony Khan is interested. And AEW and Stardom had talks earlier in the year regarding what talent could appear in a crossover capacity. Fightful indicated then AEW had clear interest in using her at some point, though we haven't heard if it went as far as creative plans being developed. Now, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. There was a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of stories getting crisscrossed. No one's in the wrong here. No one's in the wrong here. PW Insider reported that Giulia is being looked at by WWE. This heavy interest there, that is fact. That is the truth. So that was the information that was put out there. Sapp went out there, doubled down on that, And then Meltzer comes back and says, well, yeah, everybody's right, but she's not going to be at the Performance Center until March. I know everybody's excited about this. I know everybody is really excited about the idea of women's wrestling in WWE. We have to wait and see. Nothing is concrete now. Nothing is official now. And I'm not surprised that Triple H, of all people, is interested in someone like Giulia. Now, I am not very familiar with what she has done with Stardom or with Bushiroad. Have I seen her wrestle? Yes. Have I seen clips of her floating around on social media for the last couple of years? Yes. I think she's fantastic. I think she's great. That's the type of woman Triple H wants in the WWE. You can see the building blocks of Triple H and what he is setting out to do. What a lot of people are not talking about is how WWE women's wrestling right now is not really all that good. There really isn't a urge or a priority right now on television to work with what they have and make it better. We have a lot of talent on that roster that is being underutilized, and then we have Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair and Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Becky, Jade Cargill's coming in. I mean, the talent is there. But unless you are those names that I mentioned at the top of the card, you are not going anywhere. You are not getting priority treatment from WWE. The WWE has a problem of taking their undercard talent, their underutilized talent, building them up, giving them TV time, building them into something more, and then making new stars out of that crop of talent. They don't want to do it. They pick and choose who they want on television. They pick and choose who they want to build up as the future. It sucks. And in turn, it's made both Raw and SmackDown women's divisions unwatchable. Rhea Ripley's great. She's got no competition. How many great women do we have on SmackDown? But there's no level of story there. There will be now with Io and Kairi Sane returning to the WWE fold, but there wasn't story there really or anything substantial to really sink your teeth into. From my vantage point, what it looks like is Triple H is going out there and rebuilding the women's division the way that he knows how, by spending money. Now, on one hand, you look at that and you think, well, you got all this talent there. What the fuck are you going out and spending money for? They need to make an immediate impact and then worry about everything else, and then those blocks will fall into place. They need to make an immediate impact. They also want to keep Giulia away from AEW. So the sense of urgency there to keep her away from Tony Khan is going to trump everything. They don't want her. They don't want Ospreay to go over to AEW. Though I think these two particular talents would probably be better off in WWE. Giulia's going to get lost in the shuffle. Their women's division is fucking absolutely hopeless. And Will Ospreay, though we'll get banger matches with Will Ospreay, I mean, he can go out there and wrestle a fucking mannequin and bring it to a 5-star match. I think the level of creativity for Will Ospreay is greater in WWE than it would be in AEW, though he would have more freedom in AEW. But at the end of the day, Triple H, in my mind, is trying to rebuild the women's division and basically kickstart a new revolution in women's wrestling for 2024, and he's starting with Giulia. Imagine if Giulia joins the WWE. Look at the top of the women's division in WWE. Giulia, Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Asuka. The list goes on and on. Io, Kairi. I mean, look, that's 9 names right there. And I know I'm missing a ton more. Rhea Ripley. The women's division would absolutely be stacked, and there would be discussion that WWE would have the best women's division talent-wise in all of North America, all of the world. But it looks like Triple H is trying to rebuild and kickstart another revolution for 2024. Another thing that I don't see people talking about. Now, I don't really know this for fact. I don't really know this if this is the case. I've heard whispers. I've heard murmurs about this. Mercedes Monet joining AEW. I heard it's a done deal. I heard that Full Gear is the date. I heard her and Tony or her and Shida or whatever the case may be. Mercedes is joining AEW. She was out All In. She was a guest at Tony Khan's. And I think they're just waiting for her to get better and then bring her back to television. Now, that could be the case. Nobody knows. But what if Triple H, in the back of his mind, is thinking about bringing Bushiroad to WWE and then bringing Mercedes back to WWE to lure her back to the company by giving her what she always wanted, and that was to go out there, venture out there, and wrestle the best in the world. Triple H may be bringing the best in the world to WWE, and he wants Mercedes to come back home. Now, I know that's a far-fetched conclusion. I know that's kind of conspiracy theorist, but at the end of the day, if Mercedes is not signed and Triple H is rebuilding this new revolution in WWE, where are you going to go, especially with Triple H now in charge and Vince kind of in the shadows, way, way back in the shadows? If she believes Triple H is really running the show and you're a free agent and Triple H is doing all this, where are you going to go? Are you going to go join Tony Khan, or are you going to go back home and join WWE? Imagine Mercedes joining WWE on top of what I just previously mentioned. Now, that is a very far out there conclusion, but it's got to be discussed and it's got to be brought to the table. I'd love to see it. I don't know what her status is, but that could also be a thing that he is thinking in the back of his mind. And it's always been a foregone conclusion that no matter what she does, if she goes and wrestles in New Japan, if she wrestles for AEW, that she was always going to come back home. She wrestled Kyrie earlier in the year, which is one of the best women's matches all year. She's getting back from injury, and they were going to go immediately do that match with Giulia over in Bushiroad at Stardom. Imagine Giulia comes to WWE next year, and Mercedes comes on in with her. I mean, that's a major, major, major deal. So we have to see this as it is a developing situation, but it looks like Triple H may be trying to kickstart another women's revolution. He's brought in Kyrie. He's getting Jade. Deonna Purrazzo is also a free agent, I believe, at the end of the year. Impact has not re-upped her contract. She was with WWE in NXT. They did nothing with her. She went over to Impact and made herself into one of the best female performers in the entire world. Imagine that. I mean, Triple H at the end of the year may be cooking with women's wrestling. He may be cooking more than Guy Fieri in Flavortown, USA come 2024 with women's wrestling. And that's something that I know ate him up alive inside. Watching Bruce and Vince ruin women's wrestling, deteriorate women's wrestling. After Becky won the title from Ronda and Charlotte, women's wrestling went down the fucking toilet. It never recovered. They didn't give a shit. They used Ronda for her star power. They used Becky at the height of her popularity, and they did nothing to maintain that. Now Triple H is trying to kickstart a new revolution the only way he knows how, by some of the best women's performers, some of the best wrestlers, period, in the entire world. You got to give him some credit. You know where his priorities lie. Now, another women's wrestler that apparently was being looked at by WWE was Saray. Now, if you guys know Saray, who? Yeah, Saray. Bruce, when he was running NXT with John Laurinaitis and whoever else was fucking running NXT 2.0 at that time, turned her into a very stereotypical Japanese cartoon character on television that was very reminiscent of Sailor Moon. Ridiculous. She was this Japanese schoolgirl, and she had this pendant, and it was important to her, and she had some mystical powers with the pendant. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? I mean, holy shit. Apparently, WWE was looking at bringing her in. The IWC was going crazy. Oh my God, Saray's coming back. Give me a break. That signing meant nothing. That was going nowhere. I don't know why anybody would be interested in bringing Saray to the main roster. Give me a break. Especially after what happened to her. Why would she even want to come back there? So all the rumors about WWE is about to bring in Saray. They're going to put her with Io and Kyrie and Asuka. And that's going to be the War Games women's team at Survivor Series. That's not happening. Apparently WWE missed out on Saray, and she signed a multi-year deal with a company in the United States. PW Insider accurately reported last week that Saray was deep in negotiations with an American company that wasn't WWE. However, several WWE sources had contacted Fightful and indicated that they were interested in possibly bringing her back and had started working on that. That didn't go far, as Saray has signed with Joshi promotion out of the United States called Sukaban. Now, those same sources clarified that there were no offers on the table and did not think that she'd want to relocate to the United States again. Meltzer noted that WWE's reported interest in Saray was completely overblown. He says this, and I quote, "But anyway, she signed with them. The stuff about her in WWE was pretty overblown," meaning that she signed with Sukaban. I mean, from talking to people in WWE, it was like they were not really talking about her. She wanted out. Hey, look, they didn't do anything with her. She sat there for 6 months, the last 6 months of her contract, and never did a thing. It's like whatever they didn't see in her, they gave her a really bad gimmick. Why would you want to go back? So anyway, that's the situation with her. "There's no ill will on our side," one source from WWE said. "We didn't think she'd end up back here. There were no creative plans set for her, and she wasn't contacted. Her name wasn't mentioned, and she was liked within the company. So there were some preliminary things discussed about trying to get her back. This deal probably works out better for her with Sukaban," end quote. Who gives a shit? I mean, are you going to lose sleep over WWE not signing Saray? Give me a break. So she's there. I don't know anything about Sukaban. If she's happy, she's happy. But WWE bringing in Saray was never supposed to be. As Meltzer said, it was completely overblown. WWE will lose nothing by losing Saray out to another promotion. And finally, guys, rumored TV networks interested in the broadcasting rights to air Monday Night Raw. Meltzer noted in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that the TV networks interested in picking up Raw's broadcast rights are one of three: FX, Warner Brothers Discovery, and USA Network. Now, as you guys know, SmackDown is leaving Fox. Currently, Raw and NXT have deals with the USA Network. While SmackDown airs on Fox right now, they will be on USA Network come 2024 in October. And that will keep them on USA Network until 2029. Meltzer says this in regards to the Raw broadcasting TV rights. They're doing their earnings report tomorrow, Tuesday, which is today. By the way, and it should be noted that as far as the rumors of Raw, it looks like the rumor mill right now either has FX, Warner Brothers Discovery, which would be a very crazy situation, but I think it's a long shot, says Meltzer, and USA. But the analysts believe that they're going to get a 42% increase from what they're getting now, which may not drop the stock because it's down lower than probably should be. But it won't help them. But they will be more profitable. The WWE and UFC earnings reports will be out on Tuesday, Meltzer stated, end quote. WWE is not going to Warner Brothers Discovery. So you can end that narrative. You could put the AEW is dead or dying and the Grim Reaper is coming for Tony Khan and that narrative to bed. It's not going to happen. Warner Brothers Discovery has said every single week that they are happy with AEW programming and that they expected the ratings for Collision and Rampage and all that shit with the time slots that they've been given on the nights that they've been given. They expected the numbers to be what the numbers are. They are very happy with Dynamite and what they're bringing to the table with the ratings and what Dynamite's bringing to the table on Wednesdays. Tony Khan has said that he's got a great relationship with everybody that he needs to inside Warner Brothers Discovery. They're already talking about a new deal. Contract negotiations are on the table, and a streaming deal potentially is set to be announced next year for the entire AEW, possibly also Ring of Honor catalog. So that narrative needs to go to bed. WWE is not going to Warner Brothers Discovery. USA Network will end up having Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. WWE went with USA for SmackDown because USA wants everything under the same umbrella. They want Raw. They want NXT. They want SmackDown. They want to keep Raw on Monday. They want SmackDown on whatever night they think is best. Friday, Thursday, Tuesday. I don't know what they're doing with NXT. I don't. NXT could move to Wednesdays for all we know. We could get WWE on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which Andrew Baydala on TNT already kind of laid out for you guys. If you went back and listened to that, you would see how much sense he makes from a production crew standpoint. So we could see WWE on Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, back-to-back-to-back days. But they ain't leaving USA Network. They want everything under the NBCU umbrella. Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and then on Peacock. I don't know what that means for the Endeavor deal. I don't know what that means for the partnership between WWE and Endeavor. If Endeavor is going to leave ESPN, I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen with the WWE Peacock situation when they leave Peacock in 2026. Endeavor may end up getting WWE and UFC under the same umbrella like an ESPN and charge $60 to $70 for their premium Big 5 pay-per-views throughout the year. We don't know. This is just phase one of WWE finding their new homes for the next 5 years. They're not going to Warner Brothers Discovery. I fully expect them to stay with USA Network. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for notifications, and make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it with more still yet to come this week. Thank you guys very much. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment down below on what you think of the possibility of Giulia joining WWE and Triple H, kickstarting a brand new revolution in women's wrestling in 2024 with the WWE, and all that down in the comment section below. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you possibly tonight. I'll let you guys know what's going on with TNT. I'll be live with Andrew Baydala right here for episode 21 of TNT Tuesday Night Titans right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.